Mr. Chairman, Ajit Sahab and Zafar Islam Sahab, I am speaking in the English language because this is the language which we use in our classrooms in teaching, and also so many books and newspapers we get in the same language. And I think all the people understand this language. My topic is that Palestine, a nation without a state. Logically it is true, but technically it is not true. Technically, Palestine is a state. This state was created in 1988, and the same month, in November, it was acknowledged by the United Nations General Assembly resolution. It was also acknowledged by the Oslo Accord of 1993, and it was also informally accepted in Madrid Accord in 1991, and also in the roadmap in 2001, 2003, and then 2005, and later on. So technically, Palestine is a state. It is known as the State of Palestine. About 135 or 36 countries recognize Palestine as a state. About 70.5% of the total number of countries in the world, they recognize Palestine as a state. But logically, it is not a state. Because a state is a modern political, legal, constitutional entity. It is not a state of city, state, or polis of Greek period. It is not a church state of the medieval period. It is not a state of Bodha. It is a modern state, and the modern state is identified with sovereignty and autonomous government. Sovereignty means that is supreme power. Internally you are independent, and externally you are free from the external control. And that is manifested in your activities. If you look into this aspect, then you will come to the conclusion that Palestine is not a state. A state is a legal personality. A state has a constitutional sanctity, and a state has international political respect in the world. But Palestine is not. I give you one example. What Professor Dr. Zafar Islam Khan said, that today the Palestinian territory are three: West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. East Jerusalem belongs to original Palestine, but Gaza Strip earlier belonged to Egypt, and West Bank earlier belonged to Transjordan. But now it is part of Palestine. So what is the percentage of this part? 22.2%, 22.5%. Where it is mentioned? It is mentioned in the UN Security Council resolution 242 and 338. This is known as Land for Peace, and India's foreign desk, that is our external Ministry of External Affairs, they accept this Land for Peace. It was under this agreement that Oslo and Madrid Accords were signed. That within 5 years, the interim government, Palestinian National Authority, which was created in 1994, it will establish independent Palestinian sovereign state by 1999. And when Yasser Arafat protested that still we have not got, then what happened in September, on 28 September 2000, the second intifada began. So you find that this Palestine, the Palestinian state, is lacking sovereignty, anytime it can be invaded by Israel. It has no sovereignty in the air. It has no sovereignty on the land, on the territory, and it has no sovereignty on the territorial waters in Gaza Strip. And I was telling you one thing about Gaza. The West Bank is the largest part. Look at the map of the West Bank. West Bank is divided into three parts: A, B, C. Area A, Area B, Area C. Area A is 18%, controlled by Palestine. Area B is 22%, controlled by Palestinian and Israeli security together. So how many is 40%? In 40% only, half with the Palestinian, I am talking about only about West Bank. And the 60% is Area C, which is totally under the Israeli civil administration. And 90% of the 60% territory is beyond the access of the Palestinian people therein. So this is the nature, because in political science, nature is very important. It is on the basis of the human nature, all the theories of a state and rights and equality and justice have been given. So this is the nature of the Palestinian state. About this West Bank, and that's why you find that within this 20%, 22%, 16%, they have created a lot of checkpoints, a lot of buffer zone, a lot of walls, Israeli wall. So because of this, the Palestinian state cannot have a state boundary. It cannot have a border, because there are more than 80 Israeli settlements. More than 5 lakh illegal Israeli Jews from more than 90 countries are living in that area. And the Israelis say, we will not remove the settlements. They are known as settlements. And against the settlement, there are at least 13 UN resolutions condemning the settlements and to remove the settlement. Only on settlement. Against Israel, more than 160 UN resolutions exist, and Israel never accepted this. So, because of so many checkpoints, because of the Israeli wall, what has happened? It has created a natural fence against any mob resistance or activity of the Palestinian youth or citizens within that land. Because you have to move, you have to march. For example, from Jamia Millia to Jantar Mantar. So you have a road, but in Israel, in the occupied Palestinian territory, you cannot move because there are checkpoints. This is the nature of this Israeli brutality. They attacked Palestinians in 1948. They attacked Palestine in 1967. They attacked Lebanon in 1978. They attacked again Lebanon in 1982. They again attacked Gaza in 2005. They attacked Lebanon in 2006. They again attacked Gaza in 2008, 2009, and then 2011, 2014. How can you create a Palestinian state in such a situation? When British were in power, because the Palestinian problem started with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in 1917. Because in 1917, the British general Allenby, he captured Jerusalem, and with his a lot of anger and honor, he was walking and sitting on the horse that I have controlled, captured Jerusalem. That was the false pride of the British. So British took over the Palestine from 1917 to 1948. Until that period, who is responsible? The British responsible for not giving sovereignty to the Palestinians. Then after that, who are responsible? The unilaterally, illegally created Israeli state against the UN partition plan of November 1947. Then again, who is responsible for not giving sovereignty to Palestinians? The Americans. Today, Americans are not in a position, whether it is Obama or Clinton or the Bush family or any Bradley, any POTUS, that is President of the United States, they are not in a position, especially after the death and killing of JF Kennedy, they are not in a position to impose any pressure upon the British, upon the Israelis. Because I have studied terrorism, especially terrorism for the last 5 years, from the British and American sources. They cannot. It is beyond the control of the Americans to pressurize Israel. So Americans also could not provide sovereignty to the Palestinians. Come to the European Union, they failed. Come to the UN Security Council, they also failed. Arab League also changed after 2002. GCC also failed. But the most important point, what Mani Shankar said here, that the people, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, color, and territory and geography, and the continent, they are with the Palestinians. This is the beauty of the natural justice. Or this is the beauty of the demand for natural justice, which is in favor of the Palestinians. I say it is not a Muslim issue at all. It looks like a Muslim issue. It is a Muslim issue also, but it is not the only Muslim issue. It is the issue of humanity, it is the issue of justice, it is an issue of international law, and it is the issue of peace in the world. It's a different thing that the Muslims live there, Arabs live there, or Jews live there, or Christians live there. There are many examples. My family has a strong attachment with the Hindus in India, right from the beginning. That's why we did not migrate to Pakistan in 1948. We had a lot of property to migrate, but we did not. Why? Because we loved our country. And those who migrated to Pakistan on that age, they are big people. They are my relatives. They are big factory owners, but I am not, because I love my country. So the thing is, so this is, and that's why I tell you that Mahatma Gandhi in 1938, perhaps 38 or 37, he gave the idea of a federal Palestinian state, which Mani Shankar Sahab could not address. He said that there will be one federal state managed by the Palestinians, and within that state, the Israeli area will have the autonomous region. And Mahatma Gandhi, he never supported the Zionists. He never supported the Zionists. So this is the beauty of India, and I think that the Palestinian, because something, I tell you one thing, because most of you are students here, technical defeat is not a defeat. If you are defeated by your body, it's not a defeat. The moment you are defeated by mind, you are defeated. So the respect, dignity and sovereignty of Palestine lives and resides within the billions of people in the world. It will not be accepted by UN Security Council. So this is the logical and philosophical strength of the Palestinian state, which has not been theorized by political scientists as of now. But I hope in future it will be done. So thank you very much, because time is very limited. It's not a good time for academicians to speak.